from the break. You're still watching Smart Means Business, and just a quick one on the follow-up on just details here in regarding to the news programming budgeting system that the Ministry of Finance released or brought out or phased in this time around, because as an alternative to at least implement one or two things in regards to the budget allocation and allocation of funds, to as well implement the idea that money has to work and funds have to reach their destination. Members of Parliament on the other side had their view or their say in regards to this new budgeting system that the Ministry of Finance phased in. Let's take a look.
Okay, the program-based approach comes from the National Development Plan. And now we are supposed to be doing a program-based approach such that we move with the National Development Plan. But it is something that is not understood very well, even among parliamentarians, because you find like health, education, and other services are put in one program. Now, when you go to tease out how much money is, because when they are budgeting, they say this money is for the program. When you go tease out which money is for health, it takes you a long time. In fact, even for me now, I cannot do it because I have to first go to the clerk, then they ask them how much money has been given to health, then you go inside, then you ask how much money has been given to cover the hospital. It is something that is not understood, but I hope we can understand it as we move on. More people can understand, and then it helps us in planning. Another problem with the program-based approach is that it does not have a monitoring and evaluation strategy. They just say we have dropped this money, but how to monitor it is something that has not been understood very well.
How is each area that different from this?
So it's not very different, and but the problem is that it is more. The way it was made that if you want to tackle something like social services, where I am and which I understand, because I'm in a committee of health, you should tackle all social services that you go, and I tend to agree with them, because you cannot tackle health without tackling education. For example, we have been talking about the curriculum, changing of a curriculum, for example, at the primary level. If you want to change the curriculum to tackle health issues, if you want to start school feeding program, you cannot now say school feeding program is just education. It is just also school feeding. It is just about the health of the people, much as it is in the schools. So it was okay to say that these things should be integrated. But the problem is that people get confused when they are planning. The teasing out becomes a problem. At the same time, the monitoring and evaluation also becomes a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Program-based approach.
Why it confuses people? You will discover that a ministry ordinarily is supposed to plan for all its programs. For instance, you will discover that under the Ministry of Local Government, it presides and supervises some roads, like sub-county roads and other community-based roads. But it does not have engineers competent to give technical guidance. So ordinarily, where the confusion comes in, they will either run to the Ministry of Works to get that person to give them guidance, and if that person is occupied, because the schedule of work of an engineer in the Ministry of Works is totally from the schedule of the person in local government. So they will always lack a personnel. In the process, they will be tempted to hire their own engineers. And that will be some kind of creating a double work, double centers. Because why should there be an engineer in the Ministry of Local Government and also an engineer in the Ministry of Works? Nevertheless, you would discover that a ministry, it would help them to get all the money and the program and the budget for all the programs they are supposed to implement, such that when they fail, they are answerable for their ministry. Basically, that's what it means.
Asante sana.
Thank you.
All right, and of course, that is those are members of Parliament giving their view on the new program by the Ministry of Finance. But besides that, let's take a look back at the week that was. This very week, I think we kickstarted it off on the 6th of March.
Yeah,
Pretty much a week which has been filled up with women. And for what I do know so far, today and tomorrow, there's going to be also women training around Uma. So it is entirely a Women's Month of empowering women, equity. But the mere fact that this time its theme was rotating around digital inclusion and innovation for all, for equity. I think you, as a person who is a lot into tech, I don't know what your take is. This has been a week of all those discussions. But your take in why we have very few women in tech.
Yeah, actually, tech has been, it's been changing actually. Honestly, women are really coming up in technology. Despite the fact that they are just attached, limited to a certain few sectors. And according to my experience, when I've been out there, most of the women are into the fintech. Somehow women are in financial technology, money.
Yeah, very true.
Very true. So, and we've seen quite lots of, some sort of, can I call them conferences, like Women in Fintech? And I mean, seeing all these women coming up all together and, coming up with these innovations, even away from just the fintech, others are acting as assistants of, programmers and so many of that. And I think their participation in the tech sector, it would be covering up a gap, that gap which has been really lacking up to, and they really have a very important role to play, despite the fact that some people still there is this whole tradition, this whole society and culture which dictates how far a woman should succeed, how far a woman should go into, what course should a woman take. But now things are changing. I mean, women, and they're really doing mighty exploits, because when I've been moving around all around to the tech companies, meeting up these CEOs, you find that at least their immediate personnel, they are women, doing all this in technology. And sometimes I'm like, well, I'm amazed. I mean, seeing a woman into this whole tech, and they're really very passionate. I remember there was a time I went to at some hub in Nakawa. It's a government hub by the Ministry of ICT, and I met
the innovation hub.
The innovation hub here at Nakawa. Within that campus, there is some campus. It's within
Makerere University. Around Makerere University.
It's around Makerere. There is an institute next. There's an institute next to MOBS, but in that
Information Communication Technology Institute.
But within that institute, there is a hub down there, hidden. It was an establishment of the Ministry of ICT, and I met these all people that designed the paper, the electronic government documentation system. And it was a lady and a guy. I mean, they are all working together, and the lady was having all these discussions, telling me, I spent sleepless nights trying to program this, putting all this together, and the system is being used actually. I think public service is already using that system. Before, currently, most government offices, it's more of the traditional way, paper-based approach, and that delays decision making. You find that probably you want to resign, you write a resignation letter, but it reaches your boss after weeks, because it's paper-based. But now with the electronic documentation, everything was okay. But anyway, what I was trying to drive it at is like there was an aspect of a woman. I'm seeing this whole part. There is another colleague that also designed an application whereby people can design, can book tickets online, bus tickets online. And when you look at his committee, there are women doing this. Yes, it's the head, but you can see he's mentoring them. And that shows that there is a mindset that is disappearing amongst our new generation, that actually women can actually do these things. They can take all these things. And I was so glad by this, by the theme, for this Women's Day. Recently, I was at Makerere. There is a laboratory there. It's called WIMER laboratory. It's, the beehive monitoring systems. It's a lady making them, whereby there is an electronic sort of a beehive. You monitor your bees, an automated weather station, still ladies working on those projects. And man, it's quite really so interesting, and seeing all this, and the university is also really giving them the right approach. The right support, the moral, financial, and all that aspect. So, but we need more of that, because I would wish, like how there are all these sensitization campaigns about ladies, about so many things. They talk about family planning. Yes, it is okay, the health aspect of it, but how I wish they do outreaches, trying to take outreaches, to the women, because now this is exclusively to regional, probably to the women within the central region. But if we can have tech reach outs, we see women in fintech are going away from Kampala, and they're taken to the distant parts, because there are innovators in there that have innovations, and they really feel they should be exposed, but they lack channels, and these are ladies, very, very passionate. So I believe that would be very good, and my take is that it's very positive, and I anticipate, since what I believe is that if this year's theme was for equality in terms of digital, starting yesterday but one, when the Women's Day was on,
yes,
till next year at the same time, we should see a deliberate move of civil society organizations,
okay,
private organizations, NGOs, with a move deliberately to drive women towards the digital. Not only just them to be acquainted with this, but they should participate in making this, developing these software systems. We should really see many of them, because I
do love the idea of what you've actually mentioned about participation, because women participating in this particular kind of trainings, and also getting involved in these, not being logged out of the entire picture, will clearly, give us an understanding of the equity, because equity is not necessarily meant to give it to them. But it's the men who are supposed to, maybe even the women have to stand up for their own at times. Because the world we're living in is, you create the opportunity, you stand up for yourself, make sure that if someone puts an opportunity for you, you're ready to strike it.
Exactly.
But how are you positioning yourself as a woman? And I think by the look of things, even the courses that we are now doing, I think anyone ideally has to have a computer skill or knowledge in one way or the other, unless when you want to get locked out of the entire world setting lately. So the world is moving in that direction.
Yeah, of recent we saw cuts, labor cuts in Uganda of certain famous media houses. But when you read through the reports, they will tell you that the victims were, when they were found incapable of the current trends in terms of information technology, incapabilities in IT-based skills. So it shows you that it is the way to go, and the girl child, the ladies, since it's the Women's Month, it should be really quite a deliberate move. But of course, not only the ladies, even you, it's your personal responsibility to at least assess a computer skill. You don't necessarily have to do a course in, a computer-related course, but it could be anything. Learn something new regarding how to use the different softwares. You can be, it's very interesting when you're versatile. You know how to use. Don't be locked only to one one software. Okay, fine, you know how to use Microsoft Word, which is wonderful. But go, when we talk about learning computer skills largely rotates around knowing how to operate softwares, because the computer, apart from other few things which may not be really of much necessity. For example, when it comes to connections, networks, those may be for probably experts, but you can get them. But as a normal individual, 80% of your computer skills is about learning new softwares, because every other day, now recently I was seeing there is a software, and it's already in here, of how you can manage a school.
Okay.
I mean, I've not really. I saw a clip of it, and I really got interested. But it was just a short clip. But I'm trying to really understand how this really works. But you can manage your school, everything. Your the arrangement of the students, which student paid, which one didn't pay. I mean, there is a way. It makes it much more easy for you to run your school very efficiently. I mean, like what you say, it's very important. Every person, they need to have some computer skill. Computer skill.
Of course, even the Uganda Parliamentary Women's Association members summoned government to invest in advancing gender equality in technology, as well as innovation and education, especially around the digital space. But also during the same week, during the Women's Day celebrations, President Museveni shifted from the theme of innovation and technology for gender equality and encouraged the women to learn and harness better farming practices, especially also in cattle rearing, because he does believe that will, in the long run, raise household income. Because according to the initiative, especially rotating around parish development model, is to at least transform and lift the household incomes of most of the people, especially the low-income earning Ugandans.
Yeah, because majority of them seem to be participating in what they call subsistence.
Yeah.
More of, you plant something which you're going to eat for your family there and then. But then now this comes in the aspect of, despite the fact that there is this whole new development, I believe we need to have some sort of sensitization on how to use the required machinery for proper execution. And because some people will tell you that, when I use this machine, I'm not efficient, but when I use my normal local style, I mean, things work out. But then it still comes back from the perspective is that this person saying, by the time they make that statement, they probably they don't have the sensitization, they don't have the fullness of understanding how this machine really works. I think those should be also sort of sensitization campaigns. They say if you're given 7 hours to cut a tree, use the 6 hours to sharpen the axe.
Okay.
So you cut the tree for 1 hour.
If you're given 7.
If you're given 7 hours,
okay,
to cut down the tree,
you use the 5.
Use 6 hours to sharpen the pan. All that equipment that you're going to use to cut it.
So that you can only use 1 hour.
1 hour to cut it.
Wow,
that's the principle.
And of course, from us to you, we are definitely into the mode of signing out. Tonight, there's a fresh new episode of Smart Tech. What do you have for the viewers today?
Well, Smart Tech, we shall be looking at, of course, current trends, what's really happening for any tech fanatic in there, what's happening in the world of gadgets, and so many more of that. And I guess when you watch it out, and today it's more going to be very inspirational for the innovators in there, getting to see what is out there in the other world and what can you do to improve your very own craft.
Wow. Yeah. Barija Andrew with Smart Tech tonight at 8 p.m. 7 p.m. fast will be Farm Smart with Chris Chitaka-Haman, though. It is a Friday, and Friday of opportunities. Invest still. As we're signing out, please do. We're reminding you that Zabu is giving you chances of investment. That is a platform that you can use to invest anywhere you are. Star 292 hash. Investment into the Uganda's financial market space by investing in government bonds and other securities. For the government bonds, the minimum amount of investment is 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Registration, all you need is your national identification number, and you will immediately invest and make your money count with Zabu. Zabu is a platform which is powered by Altex East Africa, and Altex East Africa says do something new. So what new thing can you do today? Invest. Choose such a platform to invest. Zabu, my money, my future. Altex East Africa, do something new today. Well, kick on and do something new. Markets are open at 8:15 a.m. Only close at 3:15 p.m. East African Standard Time. Fully closed during the weekends and on public holidays only. And as we're heading heading for the weekend, remember to follow us on our socials. Twitter is Smart24TV. Facebook is Smart24TV Official. Instagram is Smart24_TV. The website is www.smart24.tv/news. And then our YouTube channel is Smart24TV Live. Please do remember to subscribe as well. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram too. And also follow up on Barija Andrew here on Smart 24 TV. For now, we are signing out, but coming up after the show will be Financial Markets at 10 a.m. Later on, Yugi Tukole at 1 p.m. rather. Then Nami Mutumba with Scale Up at 4 p.m. before Hassan Duga with Jane Kolela at 6, Farm Smart at 7, Smart Tech at 8. Then at 9 p.m. will be Business Today with Rona Nahabwe. Tomorrow is more for business, and of course the Smart 24 TV's Youth Lounge will be taking up your time from 11 a.m. So make it from 10 a.m. rather. So make it a deal to keep it Smart 24 TV. We do wish you a good weekend, a blessed day, and a fruitful month of March. Good morning.
Smart 24, driving business.